Welcome, all of our viewers on YouTube, Facebook, and all of our other social media, and stealing from Juan Gonzalez and all those listeners around the world. My name is Vicente Cruz. I am the event and fundraising coordinator for the Oakland Greens, and we are here in our monthly open public meeting. This is a general meeting of all of our Oakland Greens business, and here we go. So the first thing is agenda review. Did everyone receive the agenda already?
Yes.
Everyone did. Oh, hold on, one more. Somebody else coming. Sorry. Everybody here, even since Pam's coming, knows each other. We don't need intros. We have in-person events, the tabling, movie nights, meetings, and October fundraiser. Defendo USD, virtual events, January through April, May through October, and the October fundraiser. We have elections. Where's my, there it is. Elections, Treasury, which there's, we'll get to it. Social media outreach, green merch, and then just announcements. Is there anything we would like to add to the agenda?
Yes, This is Michael.
Yes, go ahead, Michael, please.
I'd like to add an item about a possible statewide candidate, just for information. It's nothing that we're going to do about it exactly.
Okay.
But I think it's important, and it relates to the question. The thing we are going to do is, if we are going to support him, then we're going to need to start gathering signatures for his candidacy.
Got it. And you think is 10 minutes enough, or would you like
10 minutes is plenty.
10 minutes is plenty. Got it. And added that to the agenda. And I'm going to go ahead and put that like right as our first agenda item and go on to the others. Let's go ahead and save that. And so, oh, go ahead, Greg. Yes, please.
Okay, because I was going to also talk about the other statewide candidates under elections, but if you want to do that kind of stuff with what Michael...
Oh, I didn't think of that, and then what we'll still do is I'll just move the elections up to candidates as well. We can just...
Okay, all right, then we'll do it all together there.
Yes, correct. That sounds it all fits. So good. And then that takes it down to a one-page agenda. Yay! Okay, so let's, if you don't mind, I'm gonna go ahead and start with Michael's, I guess this is the candidate we were talking about, the county, right? For the superintendent?
Yes. Yes.
Michael, if you will go ahead and start us off, and then we'll have a discussion on it.
I will start out, but Greg, there was a meeting today, which I'd like Greg to report on. But I'll start. The person we're talking about his name is Marco Amaral, Amaral, and he is running for the superintendent of public instruction. He's a declined estate person, NPP, I guess they call it these days. He's an obvious radical. I've read his statement. He has a website. If you Google Marco Amaral, you will find his website. He's an excellent candidate. In his opening statement, he denounces the Republican and Democratic parties. He's clearly a leftist, which endears him to me. And he's currently he's an elected too. That's interesting too. I think he's on the school board in his area. He lives just south of San Diego, in that area, which is mostly Latino, between San Diego and the border. I've forgotten the name of the city. If I ever knew the name of the city, I don't. But I believe he's on the school board in his locality, and he wants to run for superintendent of public instruction. And the last thing I'll say about him is that there's an increasing frustration with the Tony Thurmond. He has not proven to be a friend of teachers and students. And I think that there's a real market for a candidate of like Marco. And I look forward to supporting him. Over.
Yes, please, Greg.
Yeah, so I'll respond. Yeah, so since I'm part of the statewide candidate subcommittee, I and some of the Peace and Freedom people, both Greens and Peace and Freedom, met with Marco just shortly before this meeting. And I did send Michael a short summary just before I got on the call. And there's a little interesting stuff in it, but I won't get into all that stuff now. I'll just simply say that, yeah, it came off very well. As Michael said, he's a radical candidate and standing up to both the Democrats and the Republicans. So I think it went off very well. He's going to send us a statement to pursue formal endorsement from Greens and Peace and Freedom. And I think that there shouldn't be a problem with supporting him. He's almost everything we could want, of course, except he's not registered Green or Peace and Freedom. But other than that, he seems to be right on the money on everything. So as far as getting signatures, I guess, we can help him with that. We had some trouble with some of our Green or Peace and Freedom Party candidates when they got their papers. I hope that Marco hasn't had that problem. And it might be a slightly different process. I don't know, but if we do get signatures in lieu, I will obviously have to get them right away, because there's now only like 3.5. I think there's only about 3.5 weeks left. And
Exactly.
and Mika has started. Maybe Mika can give us a report on how it's going with that. Because
Me?
yeah, have you had a chance to start with that?
Yeah, but like I said, it's really hard to catch people out for and tabling and stuff. So I've been asking friends, how many, do you have 10 in your pot? And if so, can you gather the signatures from them? And so far, I've had some pretty good results,
Right. I would say the other way to do that, and we'll be discussing this in our tabling part of the agenda, but the only way to do that is sort of how we did when it was just Dale and I doing that monologue down in at Diamond Park, is you have the table and just by itself. And then we were really, really far away, and then individuals could come up and look at it. I think people are very, very worried, and I think we're obviously rightly so, that we're still in this pandemic, and it doesn't seem to be, this just putting it on a two-party system just doesn't seem to have, we don't seem to have handled this pandemic very well. So, yeah, I hope so. I put the link to his website in the chat, and then I also have it on the agenda, and I will have it there. I did kind of deep dive into the website and agree with everything else. So I totally gave him a pass on not being an alternate party registered. I would almost say that maybe even no party preference is definitely kind of a fuck you to the two-party system as well by not registering for either one. So I did not have a problem. I also agree with Greg, like it is like, I think 98% of everything we would ever want for a candidate and endorser. So I don't see any problem trying to work. The only thing I see is that it may be more difficult to get signatures. Something that actually Dale and I talked about when we were discussing, when I was talking about about tabling and all these different things, is that even people might be hesitant to even come up and engage in close contact because of that. And maybe it may be a better focus to just try and, what is it, $3,500 is what they need to raise, is trying to raise money rather than the signatures for candidates, whereas something that you could virtually send to people and they can donate 5, 10, whatever money they can have. But also I would say, take something that we've been talking about here for like the last couple of months as well, is trying to target actual wealthy or rich individuals, whether they be Instagram influencers, rappers, sports figures, any of that stuff, and actually trying to target them for money. And I see your hand, Michael, please go ahead.
Yes, I just wanted to ask how I can get a copy of the signature paper. I would like to have at least one, if not more, copies of the signature paper. And I'm assuming that Xeroxing things would work. That is, if I have one, I can Xerox more. I'm assuming that's permissible under the current circumstances. But I would like to at least have one. Over.
Go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, okay, so there are some up at the Green Party office on Blake Street, and I guess Mika probably still has some left where Mika's living now. And I think those are the only two stashes right now. I've been trying to reach Chris Specker. I haven't got a hold of her yet, but I'm guessing when I reach her, she'll let us leave some at the game store. But right now, yeah, just Mika and up at the Blake Street office are the places that have them right now. And yeah,
Is there an electronic copy that can be emailed?
It's on the state party website. If you go to cagreens.org, you can download it off the state party website. Some people are having a little trouble with downloading and printing, but you know, if you're fairly adept with that, you can make it work.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I will look into that. And then what I could do, either way, actually, I could probably be over by Blake Street on Tuesday, getting more vegetable oil for the veggie wagon. And I can, pick up some there and then just drop it into your mailbox or at your door, Michael, and do it that way as well.
Thank you, Vicente.
Yeah.
Just text me or email me in case I might be out or anything, but
right.
You know, I'm usually there.
I'll let you know if they were open tomorrow. I do it tomorrow because I'm off for MLK. Well, I'm off most of the week. So, well, that's the other thing. How I know that these are taken seriously. I've had so many events cancel, right, from my day job because all of there was SF Sketch Fest was going on this week. The big comedy celebration. They canceled all those shows until February. And I've seen other people trying to push it back to January 29th. And then all the comments are like, yeah, that isn't going to happen. It'll be mid-February. And if there's any indication to what the other countries are doing, whether it be Europe or Africa, the way it's going, I mean, God, I don't believe in willing and the creek don't rise. We actually may be out of this by mid-March or April because it will the Omicron will burn yes. Oh yeah, clap indeed. I'm so over it. I know I'm feeling the depression. There was a great show on Terra Verde 2 days ago. I actually have it written because I want to post it to our social media about the PTSD that's happening over this pandemic. So, but anyway, I will grab those for you and bring those to you. Anything else on our candidate? Anything?
Well, we have more candidates. I mean,
Yes. Yeah.
So,
but on him specifically, nothing. We're all done with
nothing on him, right?
Marco. Okay, and then Greg, you have the next group, right? Correct.
Yeah, well, I actually already said most of it, which is that we do have the petitions, and these are 7 statewide candidates, 4 Greens and 3 Peace and Freedom. So anyone else that wants to help get signatures, again, you can. Right now, Mika and up at the Blake Street office has them, and I guess Vicente will be getting some soon. And of course, they're on the state party website. So that's the main thing. I mean, getting signatures and fundraising. The deadline for signatures is February 9th. You got to turn them into the county where people sign, which for most of it will be Alameda County. If it's another county, you got to mail it to them, to whatever county they're signing in. And the candidates will need to raise money for their ballot statements a week after that. So, essentially just, if you're going to donate money, just do it by the same deadline by February 9th. The state party also has a donation button where if you want to just make a single donation that can be going to the 4 Green candidates, that's there for their convenience. And I still need to get donation information for a couple green candidates. Hopefully they'll get it to me in another day or two, if you want to do it directly to the candidates. And I think that's about it. So we'll keep our fingers crossed that we can get all of our candidates on the ballot. And yeah, because we need to have some good alternatives, because the existing system is a mess, and unless you're a billionaire, you're not being helped by it. So,
Any questions? No, well, I have one more thing that is personal to us, and I still am on the same idea that I don't want to be a symbolic candidate, but something that I've been discussing with family members, and what has also been kind of discussed about what's happening around the country is, they're changing election rules specifically, not just to block out green candidates, but even to block out, anybody that may be progressive of any form, or even considered to be more liberal than a Nazi, right? They're trying to block everything out. So with that, I think I would have the energy, if I can put an actual team together, a real team, to either run or try to get a job working somewhere that would either be election rules for our county, or even my other thought was trying to get on the elections board for KPFA and try to change those rules to make it more open and democratic, to just open up the radio station. And it's also getting it on the recording for the record. I don't believe that their model of just wanting to target large Democratic donors and kind of leaning toward that neoliberal thing is actually even sustainable. Like if it had worked, it would have worked already. Not just for sustaining the radio station. I mean, for having housing and getting people to actually go into housing once you have it, and fully serviced, and services for everyone else. Yeah, I just think it's just very difficult. So I want to try, and I've already started my research and trying to see which would be best. And then I guess the question for this body is, should I focus on just local community radio, because we're lucky to be in the Bay Area bubble here, or try to get into the county and see how this shit is all working. Thoughts, please? Yes, Greg, please.
Even though the KPFA elections are something of a bear, and usually, the more progressive side usually is able to win maybe half the seats, like say, 4 out of 9 seats or something. This last time, unfortunately, we got 3, but still, we're able to win some seats. Whereas getting elected to actual, quote, public office is pretty difficult. I mean, I think the last time that we got elected anywhere in Alameda County was to some rent board seats in Berkeley. And, so it's very hard to get elected to public office, especially if you're living in Oakland. I don't think, no, except for Rebecca Kaplan, when she was still a Green getting elected to the AC Transit Board. I think that was the only time any Green has ever been actually elected in Oakland. And it wasn't to an Oakland seat, it was to an AC Transit seat. So, so anyway.
You're forgetting Audie Bach.
Oh, well, okay. I think there's some good reasons to forget Audie Bach, but anyway. Anyone, okay. Michael's right, but it would be extremely unusual to have a circumstance where you could get elected in the same way that Audie Bach got elected. So anyway, in general, let's put it this way. In general, it's pretty hard to get elected to public office, whereas on KPFA, we're usually able to get 3 or 4 seats. Maybe this time we'll really get lucky and get 5 seats. So, it depends on how much of your chances you want to take on that.
Right.
But what can we do for the whole city from KPFA?
Well, if we were to actually open up the elections, because as a candidate that ran, like I had no access to members' email list, which the other two sides that had money did. And let's not forget that both sides have people on it that are just rude and nasty, that would never, ever, well, rephrase, that I wouldn't allow them to speak to me that way in person, not without some serious drama. But having KPFA more open, I think that, again, it's like a bully pulpit, right? You've got all these listeners and people who they haven't targeted yet. Get away from the hills. Let's go to the flats. You used to. I remember way back when, well, I guess would be 2006, 2012, sorry. And you would see sideshows, and I'm not promoting sideshows, but they would be bumping sideshow radio, which used to talk about, don't drink and drive, it was not just, they weren't necessarily supporting sideshows either. They were trying to make them safer. And, and then it's all local hip hop artists. So I think by having that message, that's a huge demographic of young people who are not politically engaged, right? And that we need to find a way to reach. So I think KPFA has a potential to, again, open that up for then local, county, and state elections. That would also be my idea as well. Michael, please, yes.
I think that, unfortunately, given the realities of the current political situation, you probably would accomplish more in the KPFA realm than you would in the county as a whole. I mean, I'm still going to do it, but I think in terms of a concentration, that KPFA makes more sense than the county.
All right, thank you very much. Anything else? And seeing none, can I go ahead and move on to our next agenda item? Everyone is okay? Yours?
Yeah.
All right, and the next one is in-person events, update tabling, movie nights, meetings, and October fundraiser. So we'll start out with tabling. As a person who actually picks it up, and if someone else wants to take it on, of course, they're more than welcome. I am still nervous about the pandemic. So I have all the paperwork filled out for Grand Lakes Farmers Market, and talking with the libraries. I don't feel comfortable going until then. If there is, I know it's probably not in this group, but if there's someone else from the county greens that wants to take it on, I can put in the paperwork. I can give them the table and all the tabling materials, because we have quite a bit, and they can do it. Other than that, just like with our movie nights and in-person meetings, just kind of still evaluating, excuse me, gassy boy, month by month, and up until April. And like May is when I'm thinking, April or May is when I think we're getting back into that. So that was it for tabling. And the same thing with movie nights. I have talked with Chris specifically and had told her and it's on our website and on all social media, we have canceled the movie nights up until April, and hopefully to start up at the end of May. Now, with that said, so for our virtual town halls, right? I was kind of plagiarizing the going to a pub situation, a more relaxed situation, to have more of a social political discussions, and doing it in the afternoons. If for some reason this pandemic, or we have to go back on isolations that's actually mandated by elected officials and the system, then I think it's possible that we should move the virtual town halls back to the last Sunday. And the reason I'm saying that is from an event production standpoint. We have kind of solidified that last Sunday movie night. We've done it 3 years. It was very successful for 2. The virtual town halls, we're fairly successful on the last Sunday too. So getting out of the afternoon kind of social party gig and moving it back to the Sunday nights would be my thoughts on that. Again, if for some reason we don't get back to it by April or May, I would say then at that point, okay, we just, we suck another year to virtual and move it back to Sunday nights. And those are my thinkings. If everyone's okay with that, that's kind of where we'll stand on it.
Sounds good.
Any questions for me for any of that too?
I didn't quite understand. I'm
So-
sorry.
That's okay. So we decided this year when we thought we were going back to in-person events to keep one virtual event, but move it to an afternoon, almost like a party event.
Mhm.
Still being virtual and just, still talking about political discussions and what we would like to do and see and what are best strategies. But again, more relaxed. People would be allowed to, if they wanted to on camera, drink, and so it wouldn't be as professional. Like the language would be a lot looser and just really more relaxed situation. If we have to stay virtual for the rest of the year, moving it from the last Saturday of the month back to last Saturday in an afternoon event back to the last Sunday in an evening event, since the Oakland Greens have already been doing events on the last Sunday of every month for 3 years that are very successful. Our movie nights, when we started that, by the middle of the first year, for what we calculated as far as budget, we became sustainable right off the bat from people doing. So we usually spent 110 for food for everyone that came, and that's usually what we would get in donations at the end. So it kind of covered itself, which is great if you can have that do it. So to keep it that people in people's minds that, oh, the Oakland Greens do something on the last Sunday of the month, what are they doing? And they can go to the website and do it that way. Last thing I'll say on that too is the reason, and we discussed that we decided again, like even the meetings and going back to it, or sorry, tabling specifically, is that probably the public would be reluctant, even with masks, to engage. We wouldn't be getting as much connection with the public out tabling because everyone would want a social distance. And in a farmer's market setting, it is still kind of condensed. So
I don't know, Vicente. I was at the car wash the other day, and the lady came in to get her car washed, and she was sitting a couple of seats away. But I told her what I had, and she let me see, and I handed her, did one in my pack and handed them over, and she signed all of them.
But of course, it's not an absolute. And I even mentioned that, like, I'm nervous. Like, I don't want to have somebody coming up in my face and talking to me, mask or not. Like, I really am. And I've given it lots of thought. This is not necessarily stuff for the record, but also in the Navy, I made 6 years in the Navy and most of my life without any creepy crawlies, right? So I'm overly cautious. And I see Orlando's hand, please.
Well, me working for Alameda County, they told us Friday that they recommend us to not come outside, wear N95 masks, and don't come outside if you don't have to. So we are going back to remote. So when they shut it down and the homeless shelters and all the spots where they going is too, me personally, me and my wife, we're not coming out. We like until the surge go down and it's 100% sure, I don't want to risk my life like
Yeah,
this. Too many
I'm
people
with that
dying.
too. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm the same way. Exactly. So anything else on, I know what else to do. So doing the virtual fundraiser, I've contacted 2 people, one being a sex worker, and trying to find for the big fundraiser and something, and using the same model of actually trying to attract the talents fans over to come and see something completely different from their stars that they follow and all that too. And then that's literally, we would be talking to people who are not green at all and getting that kind of exposure. So that's where we're at for October. And of course, we discuss these every month. It's definitely a permanent agenda item. Anything else on in-person events? Seeing none. The next one is just a kind of a report back of where we are for Defend OUSD. I think I know I got an Action 2020 meeting.
I sent it out.
Yes. And then, oh, yes, you did actually. And I actually did put it on the website. Yes. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you, Michael.
Good.
So we
Can I-
are, yes, please.
Can I
go
give a
ahead.
little report?
Yes.
Basically, there's two things to be said. One of them is there's going to be a town hall on next Sunday at 6 o'clock, sponsored by the Post newspaper and the teachers union in Oakland on this attack by the the County Board of Education on the OUSD. And I would encourage people to do that. If you haven't seen the invitation, let me know and I will send you one. Oh, well, and the other thing is we're going to try and revive Action 2020, which had fallen into disuse after the last election. It hadn't met for a while, and we want to try and revive Action 2020. Don has sent out something calling for, he's suggesting a meeting on the 27th of this month to start up again. And, if I'll keep people posted. I'm assuming that's something, if it's not the 27th, it'll be sometime relatively soon. I will send that out to people as I receive it. Over.
Michael,
Yes, Dale.
I think you better check on Sunday, the 23rd, the hostile takeover Zoom meeting, I think is 5:30.
I was told 6 o'clock, but
Okay, well, I wrote it down as 5:30 from some email, I believe I got it.
okay, it could have changed. But
Yeah, I can check that right now.
okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Because I have it on my calendar as well when I got the email. Month. Hold on, sorry. Saturday. Logistics Town Hall.
While Vicente's finding out, one other thing about this issue is, if anyone knows, or even if not, to just, keep track of both how elected school board members as well as elected city council people, are they taking any stands to try to preserve local control over the schools? Because a lot of them are going to be up for election this year, and it's important for us to know the ones that helped out or the ones that stood on the sidelines and just, were worthless. So please keep track of that. So when we evaluate the candidates, we keep track of their help or their lack of help on this issue. Thanks.
And I have 6 p.m. too on the 23rd. And I will check the email again and make sure that it's correct on the website and all those things too. But I also have it 6 p.m. on my calendar.
Is it a notice that went out for that?
Yes.
Yes.
I didn't see it at all because nothing's on my calendar for the 23rd and I would have put it there.
Right. Well, I will forward it to the list that you're a part of, Mika, as well. And usually any of these things too, again, for our 7 listeners, and actually I should say 10, we're about up to 10 at this point on the YouTube channel for all the different ones. Anyway, but that all of these, once things are actually set up and updated, and they always change them, they're on the Oakland Greens website, www.oaklandgreens.org under events, always. And I have been pretty consistent in doing. I know I didn't do it for Suds and everything, but that's also because they kind of get their information out to me. Like I really do kind of need it a week and a half in advance, especially now as I'm trying to, do shows and navigate the corrupt capitalist system with the day job and stuff. So I need that extra time now that I'm doing both. So,
Well,
but yes,
let me say a word about the February.
sure.
We actually have reached out to Marco about being on Southern Socialism on the first Saturday of February. I have not received a response yet from him. I don't know if it came up in the phone conversation today, but he has formally been asked if he'd be willing to speak, and we're awaiting a response.
And you know what, I should, go ahead, Greg, please.
I give a direct response. Yeah, actually, it did come up today, and Mark was actually going to be in town on the first Saturday of February, but it's not entirely clear if he's going to be free while he's up here. So if he can't do it on the first Saturday, Marcia offered the second Saturday. So
Yes, we had agreed on that.
okay,
And,
so it's one of
the note that went out to him about this was if he were not available on the 5th, then we would consider the 12th.
okay.
So he was
Anyway,
offered he's already been offered the 12th.
yeah, he's interested in doing it. He just needs to find out if he's going to be free while he's up here or not. So
Well, it doesn't matter whether he's here. The 5th is irrelevant.
Yeah, it's a
If he-
Zoom.
We'll just go to the 12th.
okay, yeah. Well, anyway, he doesn't know his availability yet. So
Understood.
And then is
I-
this a special election in June or is this November?
I believe the school board elections, I'm sorry, the state person, I guess it's going to be the
a
primary
runoff.
is in June.
yeah, it's in June, but if nobody gets
If no one gets 50% plus one, then
Yeah.
then there'll be a runoff in November.
right.
Okay, because we already have our year set. So I think I'll still even ask him to come to because we do an education town hall is a permanent
Yeah.
virtual event that we do, but we do them in June. I can change that next year, but it's already set in stone. But either way, I think that from looking at his website, I'd love to have him come and just talk no matter what and what we
Right.
need to do to do this. So I will do that as well.
Great.
Anything else on Defendo USD? See none. Virtual events, actually, I already talked about that we have, we're going January through April, and then May through October, we'll either keep on the Saturday afternoon Party Fest or go back to the more professional setting of the last Sunday. And then I've also talked about October fundraisers as well. Are there any more questions about virtual or in-person events? I didn't think so. We did talk about it pretty extensively. All right, so the next agenda item, which is super important, is our Treasury Report. So I got a letter. We're trying to get a more user-friendly financial institution to cover our finances, especially as we're growing, and just everything. And I'm trying so hard not to be the conspiracy theorist, because I know, so someone, and there's only 3 people that had access, changed our EIN number, our employment number, from the Oakland Greens to the Oakland Green Party. So now our fictitious business name is Oakland Greens, and the EIN number is Oakland Green Party. So the bank, of course, was like, well, that doesn't seem to match up. And it's also been having a hassle that since we're just like this small club, like you don't have bylaws or anything, the Summit Bank, the local bank in Oakland, did say if I just give a copy of our minutes, that would work as well. So the question is, and I don't know about this, so this definitely has to go to the group. Do we change the fictitious business name to just Oakland Green Party, which would be quicker? I could probably do in a day. And actually on Tuesday morning, so that's, I'll know, I will email you or text you, Greg. I know I'll be out and about in the morning. I want to go down and ask and kind of get the idea of what it would be for a name change. And then we could still keep everything out in the public Oakland Greens, but then that would mean that any donations would have to go to the Oakland Green Party instead. I guess it does set us up if we do start to really grow as far as people, not just people coming to virtual events, but actually working members, that it could become its own party or not. So I also have all the paperwork written to mail to the IRS to just change the EIN number name. They did say it would take up to 90 days because again, we're writing again, nothing, but that's my little thing, but they're, it's tax season and all that shit. So does anyone have a preference on which name? That I guess is the general question.
Whatever's easiest.
Whichever's easiest, Michael says. Greg, yes, please.
Okay, I think the fictitious business name, if you were to start that again, don't you have to do it for like 4 consecutive weeks running or something?
Oh, you mean I don't think we have to publish it again. I think I can just change the name. I am 80%, 75% sure I can just change the name. It's just a matter of filing one paper. I'm going to find out on Tuesday morning.
Yeah, because I have a funny feeling just from when I see those things published, the reason why they're published is because they want to have the exact name that you're doing business under out in public. And therefore, I think they may require you to do it all over again,
Okay.
which would actually be an argument for doing it the other way, because that'll mean the expense, right, of publishing it too. So yeah, if you have to go through the expense of publishing it all over again, I just say might as well go back with the EIN thing, because they may not take the full 90 days. So
Very, very true. Orlando, I see your hand, please.
Yeah, I know I just did my fictitious name, and what you just have to do is just go do your name over, go on the computer, it's not there. They should change it. But when I use my publication, I use the Oakland Post. I just ran through the Post, gave them $45 and ran it.
I think we used East Bay Express for ours this
Yeah,
time. It may have been the Post too. I know Bayview can't do it. We're not there for some reason legally they couldn't do it in their paper.
But if we do,
Okay, so if everyone is cool, if it is quick and easy to do the fictitious business name, I will. If not, if I have to redo the fictitious business name and publish all over again, I will just, because again, I've got the paperwork ready. I will just mail it off to.
Let me make one more suggestion.
Sure.
As you may or may not know, the county Green Party has a ongoing relationship with a credit union. I've forgotten which one, and it may be, since they're used to us, it might be, and you're getting a hassle for where you are or where you want to be. Maybe you want to investigate that.
I will. And I tried with our local credit union here, Provident, and they would do it, but they wanted bylaws. And I'm like, we're just not that big, And like, I really tried to explain to them that the energy, like I'm the person who moderates everything and puts it to. I was like, everything else is thinkers. Like, but the actual, power of keeping the website updated and all that is just one part. We're really, really tiny, and we're just really focusing on trying to get people engaged. It's like we're not. But anyway, yes, I will do that too. I'll contact Justin and see.
Okay.
Anything else on? We're still at a little bit over our grand too. That we've been holding steady and all that stuff too. And I will also, I guess, Treasury Report. I'm started on I want to wait till the county sends theirs though, a fundraising letter, because we really do need a new computer, and it has to happen. So, anything else on Treasury questions, concerns, or anything like that? No. Moving on to the last one, social media outreach. Still same thing. We usually get about 432% increase. We've had 3 new likes on the Oakland Greens Facebook page. And we are starting to get some engagement, which is good as well. So, that is really, really often. Same thing with, and I really have been taking every moment as a chance to outreach. So even when I'm on Instagram lives with people, I mean, I'm not today actually, and I did it on purpose not to wear my green shirt today, but I wear the Oakland Greens merching shirt, so it shows up on camera. I post our stuff and get people engaged in that way too, people who normally would not even think about it. Again, outreach and social media is actually going really, really well. And does anyone have any questions about? I mean, I encourage you to even check it out. The YouTube channel has tons and tons of content on it. And thank you, Mika, for inviting me to make the playlist, because I also put that playlist on the Oakland Greens YouTube channel, and it's a hit. It's all because I can see, not just because the individual videos on ours, but I can see how many people look at the playlist and do ours, and it's pretty damn popular. And I've slacked, and I haven't even for recording Open Vulnerable. So the holidays are really tough for me. One of my siblings had killed himself. It was 3 years ago. And so it's really, really, really tough. And so after the state meeting, June emailed me, and I have not responded. She was really, really happy. And then also because there was one complaint about the playlist, and it was only about one song, and I'm sure it's the song I thought it would be. But you know, in the email, you're like, well, you know, it's the same thing I used to say when I taught, and they give me meetings about, oh, if I've ever used profanity. I was like, oh, do you think anyone in my East Oakland schools, these kids have never heard anyone say the word fuck? I'm like, we're in the meeting, I can hear it in music on the block right now. it's there. So I'm like, and I also caveat too, again, for reporting, I would caveat to my students, hey, I'm about to use this, and this is why. So anyway, but yeah, it's going really well. Again, questions about social media, outreach, anything like that. Then green merch, we still have all the shirts. I haven't posted it on our website yet because I still, you know, it's all still kind of waiting for the EIN and making sure that the donations and stuff can be all legal. We did do one, Chris did, and donated $30. And then again, I wear mine out all the time, and we know the translation is correct, Dale, because I've had actual Korean people come up and just read it on their own. Same thing with my tattoos. So we know that all those are correct. And I've been getting positive feedback on it as an outreach material. They liked like to tree sound. Yeah. Hey, you know, I know the other one, I thought the next one we do would be big, but yes, I was surprised at the positive response that I have gotten. And the only negative is the same thing I think that Phoebe mentioned, but I didn't care about, is the back logo. You can't, two of the fists, you can't really tell that they're fists, whatever. But I'm like, okay, well, you know, what I said and what I say to people is like, you know, I did that on purpose. So that way you'd have to engage with me and talk to me. So do it that way. But I think they will be, once we actually get out to tabling and we get through all this bullshit, I think they'll be good fundraisers. Oh, yes, please, Greg.
So when we get our EIN and all that stuff fixed up and we're totally ready to sell all the t-shirts and stuff, do you or Dale know anything about K-pop? And, you know,
yeah.
Is
Blackpink in your area.
Is there any way to make it link there? Because, you know, if anybody who's plugged into that really likes it, you could sell it all out in a second, right? So
that is correct. And you know what I will do is I will start on our Oakland Greens YouTube channel, make a specific K-pop playlist and start linking different bands and stuff on there, and then promote that through our Instagram, website, and Facebook. That's fucking great idea. Thank you. Thank you very much. Anything else on the merch? Seeing none, last, look at this, boy, I love it. I knew it was going to really be a short one today. Last ones, anyone have any announcements? No, really, awesome. If no one else has that, move we adjourn.
All right.
All right. Yes. Love it. All right, everybody. Thank you very much. And ending on our 10 listeners, thank you very much. This has been the Oakland Greens monthly public general meeting of our general business. And we thank you very much for watching, and we will be talking to you and hopefully someday see you out there. Peace.
Take care. Peace.
Good night, all.
Good night.